Well, joining me now is Shadow Environment Minister Jonathan Duniam. Jonathan, thanks for your time. The big news today is the West finally taking action against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. Now, US President Joe Biden confirmed that America, the UK and Australian military forces launched airstrikes in Yemen. So finally, after the Houthis have attacked dozens of commercial vessels in the Red Sea, we're seeing a serious response from the West.
Yeah, and about time too, I might say, James, and it's good to be with you. The sad reality is that it's been lacking. It's taken too long. The A in AUKUS stands for Australia, but I'm yet to see exactly what it is Australia has done to contribute to this effort to protect what is a critical trade route through the Red Sea. I mean, this has an impact on cost of living as well as global and national security. So what we've done, I'm not sure. We did reject the request for maritime support, which I think is hugely disappointing. And sadly, I think we're starting to become something of a fair weather friend when it comes to our alliance with the UK and the US when it comes to global security. So great that stuff's finally happening, but too little too late.
Yeah, like you said, we refused the request to send a warship. Apparently, we've provided some operational support, which I guess means a few of our military officers were involved somehow in the strikes that have taken place. But I just can't believe that the West has allowed cargo ships, which are incredibly important for world trade, to be picked off by a bunch of Houthi rebels using drones. So finally, the West have made good on their promise that there will be consequences, and now there are. Speaking of the Middle East, South Africa's push to have Israel condemned for committing genocide got underway today with hearings at the International Court of Justice in The Hague. Now, the Jewish community is obviously up in arms about this accusation, not least because among the ICJ judges who are hearing the case, well, there's one from China, hardly a model of human rights, and another, can you believe it, from Lebanon, where Hezbollah, an Iranian proxy currently at war with Israel in breach of UN ceasefires, is a member of the government. Here's South Africa's Chief Rabbi, Warren Goldstein.
United Nations and its institutions have a credibility they do not deserve and have become a threat to freedom and democracy in the world. Israel's case before the UN's International Court of Justice should be used to expose this fact and begin the process of placing clear boundaries on the UN.
Jonathan, the US has said that the case against Israel is without merit, but here in Australia, independent Senator David Pocock is calling for Australia to support the probe, and the Albanese government haven't ruled it out. Your thoughts?
Well, I've got to say, we only have to wind back the clock to October 7 to reflect on exactly where all of this started. Israel, innocent citizens in the state of Israel were going about their lives. They were attacked by terrorists. Where's the case against Hamas? Where's the case against those who took hostages? Women and children, infants, babies. For people to bring this claim, and my friend and colleague, Senator David Pocock, I think is misguided in his calls for support for the South African case here, because frankly, we in the West should protect the rule of law. We should be enforcing those who don't follow the rules-based order to actually adhere to the rules-based order, not prosecute those who are simply practicing their inherent right to self-defence, which is what Israel is doing. And I do absolutely agree with the concerns around the International Court of Justice and the UN, the skewed judgments that may well be handed down as a result of people from China, from Lebanon, from those who sympathise with those militants from Hamas and what they're doing against innocent Israeli citizens. It is a folly for David Pocock and others to pursue this. And I hope Penny Wong shows some intestinal fortitude and backs in Israel in its right to defend itself, its freedom and its citizens. It's what we in the West should be doing, and that is upholding a rules-based order, not giving over to the whims of terrorist organisations like Hamas and those who support them.
I agree with you 100%. To the other news of the week, your leader, Peter Dutton, has hit back at former Liberal MP and now the New South Wales Liberal Party President, Jason Falinski. Falinski called for the coalition to take a 2035 emissions reduction target to the next election. Is your New South Wales Party President insane, or does someone else pay his power bills?
Well, the reality is that setting targets in isolation of any other consideration, and these emissions reductions targets, renewable energy targets, EV targets and the like, have an impact on other things, namely power prices. And when we set these emission reductions targets without any other consideration, it drives up power prices. The funny thing is, though, that taxpayers are paying twice for their power bills under current scenarios. You know, they're paying high power bills, they're getting a rebate from the government, which is actually taxpayers' money. So they're paying twice on their power bills anyway. I don't agree with Jason on this one, and I think that while we have a bit of work to do around our policy ahead of the next election, what we'll be doing is we'll be setting sustainable policies around energy. We'll be targeting things like cost of living relief, actually having policies that bring down the price of power, not just talking about it like Labor did. That's what this is about, and targets set on emissions reductions alone is a recipe for disaster, and I think we need to heed that warning.
Well, speaking of recipes for disaster, Chief Cook Chris Bowen was in Dubbo this week. Standing in beautiful countryside, he plans to vandalise with the construction of 70 giant wind turbines. I had to laugh when I saw the little video he produced and posted online. Have a look at this video that Chris Bowen posted on social media and see if you can spot the problem with it.
Hey everyone, just out of Ungala today, just near Dubbo, where we've just started construction of a brand new big wind farm, enough for 220,000 houses, but also backing in Squadron Energy's announcement of 14 gigawatts of new renewable energy between now and 2030.
The wind turbines aren't moving. Talk about an own goal. He's just advertising his own folly, Jonathan.
Yeah, intermittent generation sources writ large. There isn't much electricity coming off the props in the background there. And this is the point, right? The scheme to underwrite the proposal from Dr. Forrest, who obviously is a big supporter of renewables and tells us all we're all bad for driving internal combustion engine cars and using fossil fuels, these evil things that his family have made a lot of money out of over many years. Look, the scheme that they're using to underwrite this, we don't even know how much it's going to cost. Taxpayers, who again, paying massive power bills, paying more and more tax, are going to underwrite this proposal to generate power, notionally, sometimes, not all the time. So there's a lot of holes in this scheme, and the Chief Cook, Chris Bowen, I think has a lot of questions to answer, but none of them will satisfy Australians who are paying higher power bills at the moment. Great picture opportunity they had today, or wearing their Akubras, but it is not going to fix the energy crisis at all.
Jonathan, really appreciate talking to you. Thanks for your time.